The lockdown is costing workers millions. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to talk about an article which is highlighting, well, the impact of the lockdowns, well, particularly in Sydney in this example, but all over Australia at the moment, that's being felt disproportionately by casual workers. Now, many times in these videos, I'm discussing, well, what we're seeing, well, what is being seen as a K-shaped economic recovery. It's the divide between the haves and the have-nots, or those that are, seem to be getting ahead, and those maybe that are struggling a little bit. Those that can afford to buy the houses, and those that can't. It seems to be exacerbated by this intervention in the economy, by this lockdown and restrictions of freedom and trade. What do you reckon? Let's start by looking at the unemployment rate. We're sitting at 5.1%, which is fantastic if, well, you take it at face value. Remember, there's the whole 1 hour a week, 1 hour during the period of employment. That's only about 11,000 people that can pull that off. So we need to clap for them that can manage to earn enough to live off 1 hour a week. But you've also got other data. You've got the ABS data, which we're looking at here, and you have the Roy Morgan data, and they have different methodologies. And what's interesting is Roy Morgan is 10.3% unemployment rate. Instinctively, that probably feels a bit more accurate, but they're trending differently. Look at this. We've gone from 9% to 10.3%, so we've gone up. We're here, we're just steady, heading straight down. So that's unusual. That's something we need to keep an eye on. What's concerning is the underemployment and unemployment combined, 18.9%. According to Roy Morgan. And then there's all the people who are working full-time or employed, but are not doing any hours. So I guess they'd probably be on par with a lot of the bureaucrats with regards to productivity. Pa-pow! Let's have a look at this article, which is discussing from news.com.au. Sydney's lockdown could cost casual workers $114 million, everyone. The people who are least likely able to afford it and may be not in a position to have saved enough to deal with it. Here's the problem now. We have to plan for this. We have to, as a business owner, you have to plan for lockdowns. As a independent person, you have to plan for lockdowns. What's the exit strategy? Everyone. I'm concerned that these are going to start to be called for other reasons. We'll have climate lockdowns. You'll have, wait till we have mortgage keeper lockdowns or lockdowns to help people save deposits. Sydney housing, house sales are going down. So everyone's locked down for 6 months to save deposits to buy a house. That's a joke. But is it really? So let's look. Sydney's lockdown could cost casual workers $114 million, according to experts. Finance experts have revealed the economic impact of Sydney's 2-week lockdown on vulnerable workers, and the average wage losses are grim. Sydney's 2-week lockdown is set to deliver a cruel blow to casual workers in excess of $100 million in lost income, new research has revealed. Sydney's struggling casual workforce is comprised of 466,000 people, nearly 500,000 people. According to the ABS, who earn an average weekly wage of $609. $609. So this is when, I'll bring up the ABS here. When we look at the ABS stats for average weekly wage, we'll jump over here. You can see it's $1,711. So here you've got the average weekly casual worker in Sydney on $609, so over $1,000 less. In Sydney, during Sydney's 14-day lockdown, a response to the COVID-19 outbreak, which has grown to 197 cases since June 16, a casual employee unable to work stands to lose $1,218 in income. If 20% of casual staff were unable to work through the lockdown, the same percentage of casual workers who lost their jobs between February and May last year, the wage loss would be a total of $114 million. Taylor Blackburn, personal finance specialist at comparison site Finder, said the effects of lockdown were devastating on an already vulnerable industry. New lockdown restrictions across Sydney will unfortunately have consequences for the state's economy, particularly for small businesses and casual workers, he told NCA Newswire. Now, this is the thing, everyone. it is small business that are copping the brunt of a lot of this. I would hate to be in a little business like this little coffee shop. We saw, months ago, we were looking at Gumtree ads where people were giving away businesses, giving away entire fit-outs to get out of the lease. We should do it again. So maybe that's probably one thing I'll do for Freedom Friday tonight on Twitch. Join me at 7:30, guys. That's because there's a lot of money in this, but there's a lot of cost in running it. So casual workers by nature have no paid leave entitlements, meaning every day they spend not working is money out of their own pockets. Yes, but they should be paid a premium above it, a loading to compensate for that. So the ones earning $609 are not working a full-time week to compensate for that. Because the thing is, it sounds good getting leave pay and all of this stuff and holiday pay, but the problem is that's money that the business has to set aside. So you're trusting them to take care of your money instead of you holding onto yourself and taking care of it yourself. That's what it fundamentally is. That's the difference. That's fine for most businesses. They'll do it properly, but when times get tough, like, I don't know, during a global pandemic with repeated lockdowns, would you trust them or not? Employees in hospitality and retail make up around 1/3 of casual workers in Australia, making them the most vulnerable in the lockdown. We also know that just under half of casual workers are younger than 25 and don't have the same level of savings as older Australians to sustain themselves without income for very long. According to the data crunched by Finder, female workers, 24%, are likely to be on casual contract than their male counterparts at 20%. Blackburn said the grim reality was small business owners and casual staff needed an emergency savings fund, specifically for lockdowns until the country has fully vaccinated. Wow, this is the first time in all of these articles we've looked at over the last couple of years that I've seen someone mention emergency savings fund, unless it was like a specific thing about emergency savings funds. I would argue that you need it in general. You need it all the time. But there you go. No, that's great. Good to hear. Bit late, but still good to see people are talking about it and it's getting some media exposure because the government ain't always going to be there to take care of you. Or they'll be there, they just won't take care of you. Until the majority of Australians are vaccinated, this is what the call is. Snap lockdowns will unfortunately be something that Australian consumers and businesses will have to deal with. These kinds of situations are exactly what emergency savings funds are for. Having at least 3 months' worth of living expenses in the bank means you'll be able to afford the necessities when you're not working. And this is it. This is what you should plan for. This is why whenever the government is giving out free money, and if you have a certain level of liquidity, like 10 grand stashed away, you can't get it because the money from the government isn't meant to be an emergency fund. It's to stop people from destitution. It's to stop people from resorting to crime. That's what it's there for. It's not an emergency fund. It's not income replacement. It's not insurance. They're products you can get for those things in place if you want it. New South Wales Treasurer Dominic Periotti announced a relief fund for small businesses this week, but there is no guarantee the grants would properly trickle down to casual staff. John Hewson, an economist with the Australian National University, told NCA News why the current lockdowns could be more crippling than last year's initial response to the start of the pandemic. In big lockdowns last year, many individuals and businesses actually did okay, or even better than they might have done pre-COVID, due to significant government financial support, JobKeeper, he said. These more recent, more short-term lockdowns are attracting lesser financial support, so weekly costs could be greater. There you go. I mean, he's right. The government really did come to the rescue. But don't worry, everyone. There's one thing that we need to remember for that. And I'm just going to bring up this one little itsy-bitsy chart that I can find. There it is right here. Just showing you that we're about, heading to $1.3 trillion in national debt, state and federal. Now, we either got to pay that back one way or another. And remember, paying back government debt is work. It's work that we have to do. Forced work and forced taxation. Even if you're an MMT proponent and believe that, the magic money tree will solve all our problems, they'll still need to tax money out of us to reduce inflation. It's all fun and games, isn't it? So what's the solution to this? Well, be skeptical. That's all I can say. Have an emergency savings fund. Prepare for this. How long is it going to last? You tell me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can sign up for our affiliates at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Use SelfWealth or Stake with the links below. Buy a merch from HeiseSays. Use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.